Hi, I'm Britt.
And my name is Alissa.
And this is Skeletales.
And this is the podcast where we strive to answer the age-old question of, is my dead grandma watching me?
Alissa, you know how sometimes you get a little tickle on your nose and so you rub your finger over there, but then a boogie comes off on your finger and you're like, shit. And you look around and there's no napkin, there's nowhere to put it. And so then you're like, you just like wipe it on a chair. Or maybe you wipe it on somebody's back. Or
What?
someplace.
It just magically disappears.
Someplace where you're like, oh, I can't keep this on my finger. But nobody saw the boogie come off. So like, I'm just going to like very slyly like rub it on something.
Britt, I've been blaming my kids about the boogers on the walls in my house, but you were here just a few months ago, last August, and now I think it was you.
Well, Grandma saw it. Grandma's watching your kids.
She saw
Grandma's
it.
watching me. She's watching you. The boogies.
Oh, you're to blame. All the boogers on my wall. Like the denying that occurs in this house over, we have tissue boxes. I don't know how or why.
I mean, if nobody's watching, just put that business wherever.
Grandma's watching. Right? Mom is watching.
Damn it, Grandma's watching. Yeah, I just said it.
Yeah, she knows. She's reporting back. Now I was waiting for you to confess. Grandma's already informed me that you wipe boogers all over my house when you're here. And
what I do is I like flick that, bing, I flick it and it flies across the country onto your wall.
Ew.
Oh my God. This reminds me of when I was 20 years old flying to Australia and I was in the middle row with 4 people. Have I told you this?
No, but before? I just hate it already. If it's about boogers, not super excited to hear this.
So I'm sitting 4 people in this my legs are so sore. It's uncomfortable. This woman next to me does the thing happen. She like wipes her nose, except she is not discreet about it. I see on her finger, she's got the boogie. And so she takes her finger and she flicks it, thinking it's going to fly across the country or something. No, it lands on me, Alissa. She flicked her booger on me. That's the bad karma coming back and biting me in the ass. That's Grandma.
Oh,
that's Grandma God, being gross. Like, and then I was like, I looked at her. She saw it. And I could tell she was trying not to eye contact me because she saw her boogie fly on me.
Ew. Oh my God. You know what happened? That was because you guys were in the southern hemisphere and she thought it was going to flick and turn in the opposite direction.
Hit her in the face.
I don't know, because like the toilets spin the other way.
The other direction.
Yeah, so that booger took a left turn when she thought it was going to take a right turn. This is so gross. Boogers. It does have boo in it, like a ghost. Boogies.
Alissa, do we just talk about dead grandmas and boogers everywhere?
Never again. Never again.
This could be the last. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I'm cool with that.
What are we changing the podcast to now? Rainbows.
Unicorns and ponies.
And ponies. Very like hygienic practices.
Wow. I really will have nothing to talk about.
All right. Britt, no, we don't just talk about boogers and grandmas. We talk about true tales of the strange, unusual, and paranormal.
Oh, man. I've got some good stuff tonight, Alissa. Should I go first or do you want to go first?
I can't remember what we decided. You go first.
Okay, I'll go first. Okay. So a few weeks ago, I got to sit down with my friend Sara, who had been telling me for months now that she had a story for me. We sat down for coffee with our mutual friend, Julie, friend of the podcast, Alissa's mom. We all sat down and had coffee together. And Sara's stories, we were over there for over 2 hours listening to her stories. And I could have stayed another 2 hours. It was like earth-shattering stuff. So, are you ready?
Yes. Oh, yes. Earth-shattering.
Okay. Goodness. Maybe not earth-shattering, but really good. Okay. So a little backstory. Sara is half Mexican, half Puerto Rican, and has this large, tight-knit extended family. She grew up in small town Texas with her mom and 2 older sisters. Her parents split when she was really young, so her single mom raised them alone. Her mom worked nights to support them, so Sara would stay with her godmother while her mom worked. Her godparents lived even further out in the country on a farm with a lot of land and animals. So Sara's godparents were like an extended family, and their children were considered like cousins, and they would come to all the family gatherings. So when Sara was 2, her godfather passed away, and her godmother, who we will call Estella, was just absolutely devastated. To this day, 38 years later, she still deeply grieves his death. So shortly after her godfather passes, we'll call him Ernesto, Sara is at Estella's house while her mom's at work. Now, remember, at this time, Sara's 2, so she doesn't know a lot of words. She can say things like moo for cow or wah wah for water, but she's really young. So this particular day, Estella comes up to Sara and starts talking with her. Sara looks right at Estella, points to her, and says, "Cha-cha." And Estella says, "What did you call me?" "Cha-cha." She keeps referring to Estella as Cha-Cha. And Sara's mom thought that this was really cute and said, "Aw, everyone should start calling you Cha-Cha." But Estella stops her right away and says, "Actually, that name makes me feel really uncomfortable." And she says, "Well, why?" She said, "Ernesto used to call me Cha-Cha when we were in the bedroom. It was kind of like our secret term of endearment to each other. No one would have known this. This is only what we called each other behind closed doors." So this is sort of like the launching point of like Sara's, what I'm going to call her superpowers.
Okay. Wait, so I'm sorry. I just want to make sure I got this straight. Little tiny 2-year-old Sara is calling her godmother Cha-Cha, which is what her husband, her godfather would call her. Okay. Got it.
So Sara just keeps calling her Cha-Cha. She won't call her anything else. She's just like, "This is Cha-Cha, Cha-Cha,
That's
Cha-Cha."
adorable. So everyone should call you Cha-Cha.
Yes.
No, that's like our safe word.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, got it.
So a year or 2 later, Sara's mom is picking up Sara from Cha-Cha's house after the end of her work shift. And they get into their old Pinto car. Now, this is in the age where there are loose seatbelt laws, and kids just didn't even buckle up back then.
I'm sorry, a loose seatbelt law sounds like your seatbelts had to be loose. They couldn't be tight and safe. They had to be.
There were just
laws.
No seatbelt laws. There's none. Like,
I know, but I just like that idea of there are laws, but they just have to be very loose.
Have to be really loose seatbelts only. Right. Oh man! So the seats are folded down, and she's playing back there on this flat surface. Now, this is out in the country, so the roads are really narrow and they're windy, and they're just narrow enough for like 2 cars to like barely pass each other. So while Sara's playing back there, she hears a voice that says, "Sara." She continues to play, and the voice says, "Sara, I need you to listen now." So she stops playing and realizes that this is not her mom's voice, it's a man's voice. And it says, "You are about to be in an accident." Now, Sara is like 3. She doesn't really understand what that means. So the voice says, "Look out the window." And she looks out the front window and she sees a car up ahead. And the voice says, "That car is going to hit your car, and it's going to hurt you if you don't do something." Now that she completely understood, and she started to panic because there's nowhere to hide. The seat's down, but she finds this tiny spot behind the passenger seat, and she squeezes herself in there just barely. And she takes another look out the front window, and she sees a white vehicle with 2 men in it. And she looks at her mother, and her mother goes, and they make impact.
Oh,
and it's a terrible car accident, and Sara's mom's head hits the windshield, breaking it, and is taken to the hospital. Sara, not a scratch. She's completely okay, protected by that passenger seat. Now, that car accident they found the car that the two men were driving. Those dudes fled the scene. They abandoned the car, but inside the car, empty beer bottles everywhere. So they're fairly certain that it was like a drunk driving incident. Fast forward. Oh, go ahead. Questions?
Was her mom okay?
Yes, her mom ended up being okay. I think that I'm not sure if she just had like stitches and bruising or concussion or whatever, but she did have to go to the hospital.
Okay.
But Sara was like, if I would have gone through the windshield, no question.
Gone flying out of the car.
Yeah. So starting in kindergarten, Sara starts having this reoccurring dream. It's more like a nightmare. In the dream, Cha-Cha's son, Raul, would be driving in the car together. She remembers that the car has this long back, like maybe a station wagon or something. And in the dream, they're going around this curved country road. And she can see the street sign that they're driving on. But at this point, she's in kindergarten and she can't read, but she can spell out Ferry. Now, it's a recurring dream, so as she gets older, she realizes that the sign says ferry. Every time her and Raul make this curve around the road, they get into an accident. And she isn't able to see what causes the accident, but after it happens, she's standing off the road, and Raul is there, and he has this fuzzy cloudiness around his head, and she just knows that he's dead. Now, she's absolutely gutted by this dream, especially at this age, because she thinks that it's a premonition. She thinks that she's witnessing Raul, basically her cousin's death. So in about third grade, the dreams finally stops, but she is haunted by these country roads, especially these curved country roads. And anytime she takes them, she holds her breath and she cringes and she thinks, is this the one? Is this the one from my dream? Now, fast forward to a couple of months ago, she's preparing to tell me her stories, and she is thinking about Ernesto because she's pretty sure that was Ernesto's voice in that Pinto that day, telling her to get into a safe spot. So she realizes that she isn't sure how her godfather has died, and she's decided to research on her own. She finds out that Ernesto had died in a car accident. He had been driving an El Camino, which, as you know, are those cars that have the really long backs behind them. He had been driving down a curvy country road, and I shit you not, the name of the road was Dowdy Ferry Lane. She just found out this information recently. Apparently, a woman had been driving drunk, hit her godfather, killing him. This whole time, she had thought that it was her cousin Raul, when in fact it was just a younger version of Ernesto, who, as it happens, is a spit image of Raul.
Oh my God.
As a kid, as younger. Yeah. So then I got to thinking like, oh shit, like when the car accident happened with her mom, Ernesto had only been dead months, like not even a year yet when that car accident happened. And so I can't help but feel like he had to come back. He had just been killed by a drunk driver, and here his like goddaughters in the car about to experience this accident. I feel pretty sure that it was Ernesto.
Yeah, no, I feel the same. I'm got hung up on the fact that there's probably not a lot of ferries in the middle of Texas.
No,
and so
there is. There aren't any ferries, but there is a town near there called Ferris, Texas.
Oh, okay.
Ferris. So I wonder if it's like a play on like Ferris, Texas, ferry road. I don't know. That's the thing, is it's so strange. There are no ferries in the middle of Texas.
Yeah.
Okay, I want you to tell a story, and then I'm going to continue a few more.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Done. I love these so far. I'm very into it.
Oh, it's good.
Okay, so I have a story about not driving, but it's from our friend, Then Driver.
Yes!
Coming at us.
I love these!
So, Then Driver's newest submission is titled, I think I just saw my daughter before she was born. I'm currently pregnant, due in less than a week, but this happened the first night in our new apartment 3 days ago. First of all, congratulations. Then probably they have a little baby in their arms right now. I can't. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because we did not tell this story straight away.
Yeah, this has been sitting in here for a minute. Well, congratulations. Very exciting. Okay. Day 1, me and my boyfriend were fixing up the nursery. My boyfriend went off to work and I picked up some clothes to start organizing her wardrobe. So I sit down, my back to the crib, when my baby starts kicking like crazy. When I hear behind me, "Come play with me, mommy." I turn around and see a girl with blonde hair who looked around 5, and like a mashup of what me and my boyfriend looked like when we were young. And it was like I just knew she was my daughter. For some reason, I followed her without even noticing what I was doing or where I was going. It was like I was in a trance, just concentrating on the girl in front of me. She walked straight into the master bedroom and smiled at me, and I hugged her, but halfway through the hug, she vanished. Day 2, I come back from work and my dog is staring into the corner on the same wall of the door, and I come in and call him over to me. He doesn't move. He just sits there staring. I sit next to him and look at what he's staring at, and there she is again, sitting on the lap of someone who I couldn't see the face of as there was a mist covering it, and they were reading a book together. Then they vanish and my dog jumps onto my lap and he saw them disappear too. Day 3, aka today. So this happened on the day she's writing this letter to us. I woke up at about 4 a.m. because she was sitting at the end of our bed staring at me. I was alone because my boyfriend works the night shift. I cautiously say hi and she disappears. My maternity leave started today, so I'm at home. When my boyfriend came back in, he asked me who I was babysitting today and that I shouldn't be working. He saw her too, but this time she was watching TV. When I went in there, the TV was on. I am 100% sure this little girl is my daughter, and each time I see her, my baby gives me a few kicks as if realizing that it is her.
Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good.
Because your mom had this experience of seeing or hearing you guys.
Heard.
Yeah, before you were born. And I think other people, or Dr. Jess said that she knew what her kids were going to look like beforehand too.
Yes. We didn't follow up with that question.
There was so much I couldn't keep up. Okay, so this is my question, then driver. I know you think that this is your daughter, very possibly, but you also just moved into this new house. How do we know the house isn't haunted? And maybe because babies can sense ghosts, that baby isn't like, that's me. They're like, holy shit, there's a ghost in here and kicking the shit out of you. I believe their instincts because then driver has had a lot of experiences, but if your baby that you've birthed ends up being like a black-haired kid at the age of 5 and it makes you think, then maybe it is just a haunted house. Maybe that wasn't your own child. And who's the person reading the story to them on the lap?
Oh my gosh, who's reading the story? And they're turning the TV on. Oh, this is, I've never heard something like this before and I'm here for it. I love it.
I love it. I love it, as always. So then driver, once again, with an amazing submission. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Seriously, they bring the story so good. Thank you, then driver.
But for sure, your baby is going to be saying some creepy things. I'm positive about this based on your own experiences.
This baby will have some abilities.
So please make sure you jot those down for the old Skeletales team over here and let us know. Keep us updated.
Definitely. Like weekly,
yes.
Please. Daily.
Okay. All right. Do you want to get back to some of
yes, back to Sarah's stories? Here we go. Okay. For this next one, I'm going to give you a little backstory about Sarah's grandmother, who we'll call Abuela. So her and Sara are very close and have been for as long as Sara can remember. She was like a second parent to her. Every Sunday they went to Mass together, And Sara was privy to the knowledge that while her abuela was a devout Catholic, she still believed in the ways of ancient Mexican rituals. She believed in the evil eye, or they call it mal de ojo, and she would regularly call on a witch doctor of sorts, which I think they call brujas. Don't quote me on that. Not totally sure. And they would come and perform rituals to clean the house and to remove the ojo from people. Actually, she sent me another huge story about this. So that's another night. We will get to that one. Anyways, when Sara was in college, Abuela was diagnosed with dementia, and they knew that it would be a slow decline of her mind, and they wanted to celebrate Abuela while her mind was still sharp. So they decided to throw a huge Mother's Day event way back in 2004. And they all gathered at Chacha's farmhouse, and they hired a mariachi band. Everyone shows up, and it was this big, beautiful celebration. So mid-celebration, Abuela motions to Sara to come over and sit with her under this large tree. She goes over there, and Abuela tells her, "Now, don't tell anyone else, but you're my favorite." And while they're talking and having this sweet moment, a yellow butterfly flutters over and hovers around Sara. She keeps shooing the butterfly away because she's afraid that she might squish it, but it keeps coming back and coming back. Her grandmother stops her and says, "This isn't normal behavior. Leave it alone, Sara, and see what happens." So the butterfly comes back, and it starts walking up and down Sara's arm, then stops on her wristwatch and is just standing there walking around on her watch. Now, Sara's sister comes over and asks, "What are y'all doing?" When she sees the butterfly, she goes, "Oh, that's so cute." She snaps a photo and she says, "Look, it's like time is flying." Now, around this point, Raul walks over and he's looking distressed, and he says, "I just need to get away from my mom." And they all look up and see that Cha-Cha is sobbing. She's shaking with tears while she's listening to the mariachi play. And they ask, "Why is she crying?" And Raul says, "Well, the mariachi is playing a song that was played at Ernesto's funeral. And the name of the song is Reloj, which in English means clock." Now, the song is about a woman who's begging time to stop so she doesn't lose her lover to his death. Now, Sara is shocked. She's sitting there watching this butterfly walk around her watch and listening to this lyrics, and she just knows that that butterfly has to be Ernesto. Right?
I got lost in I didn't understand why time was flying because it's on the watch. I didn't make that connection. Wait.
That's why the sister took the picture. The sister took the picture because she's like, "Oh, the butterfly's on the watch." When in reality, it was while the song Reloj was playing.
And it's drawing everyone's attention to the watch and making that connection. I see. I see.
The song played at Ernesto's funeral.
I thought you were going to tell me that word meant butterfly, and I know that is wrong from my very limited knowledge of Spanish, because I'm pretty sure it's mariposa.
I don't even think that would be as like earth-shattering as clock, because the butterfly is on her clock. The name is called Clock. No? This isn't surprising to you.
If it was butterfly clock, then I'd be
My God. You're relentless.
Time flies. Okay, but yeah, no, it's drawing attention to the clock. I understand. And the butterflies are a sign from the dead, right? And
exactly.
Wait, so is Ernesto's the grandmother is not related by blood, just by family
correct
ties.
Yes.
Okay.
Raul is Ernesto's son. Yes.
But the grandmother who's just told her that she's her favorite.
Correct. But her grandmother also had mentioned that, and told her at a young age, that things with wings tend to hold spiritual power. So that's why birds, butterflies, all of these things that can like fly tend to hold, well, what did she? I think she just straight up said can be like spirits can inhabit their bodies.
So
her grandmother told her that, and then her grandmother was like, stop shooing that butterfly. See what happens.
So the story doesn't necessarily have anything to do with Sara being her favorite. Sara just wanted to share that with y'all. Us all.
We'll get there.
Oh, okay.
But also
just a little brag, a humble brag.
Everyone needs to just know that Sara was her favorite. Everyone.
Sara, you sound lovely. Please don't
oh, she's
take
the best.
me personally by any means. Okay.
All right. So fast forward a few years later, Abuela's health is declining. She's barely remembering anyone anymore, and it's just such a hard disease to see her suffer from. And eventually she declines further, goes into a coma, and Sara's told that she doesn't have much longer to live. Her abuela makes it a few more days before a nurse wakes up Sara's mom in the middle of the night to tell her that she's passed away. Sara's mom then calls Sara right away to tell her the news that they've all sort of been expecting. Sara hangs up and goes back to sleep. In the morning, she's in this half awake, half asleep state when she feels her abuela's presence. She hears her say, "Don't open your eyes. If you look for me, I can't stay." So she stays there with her eyes closed. And then she feels her sit on the edge of her bed, and she feels the covers pulled tight next to her. And Abuela says, "I am at peace. It's going to be just fine. I'm not alone. I came to say goodbye. This is it. I'm not coming back again." And then she feels her Abuela's embrace. She opens her eyes, and Abuela's gone. Nobody else had Abuela come to them. Not her mom, not her sisters. It was this special moment because Sara was her favorite. And Sara has a special ability that she kind of got that one last goodbye from her grandma, which I think is pretty special.
That is. She didn't go around to the other kids and just like, I just want to say, you're not my favorite. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Nope. Just Sara.
I kind of love this idea of, or that insight into if you open your eyes, you won't be able to see me.
Yeah.
Like if you look for me, you won't be able to see me. Maybe that's my problem.
Yeah.
Maybe I want to see like ghosts and stuff a little bit, even though it scares me. I still want to see them. And I'm always like, okay, show me. But I just need to close my eyes and be like, wait, or something.
Well, I do think there's something special about that sort of half awake, half asleep state. Like I've heard that things happen during that. I don't even know if it has a name, that sort of period of half awakeness. But after talking with Sara further, she has several other stories about being contacted while she's in this half sleep state. For example, she was really worried after the butterfly incident about Ernesto. She thought that maybe his spirit was trapped at that farmhouse. She was worried that he was alone and that he couldn't see his loved ones. Cha-Cha at that point had moved out of the farmhouse. So she's worried that he's just hanging out there alone. She ends up having one of these half asleep dreams where Ernesto comes to her, and he told her that he's not going to be alone anymore and that everything's going to be okay. The very next day, she gets a call that Ernesto's sister had had a massive heart attack and was in a coma. And then the very next day, or maybe it was even the same day, she ends up passing away. So what was he telling her? Was he saying that he's not going to be alone because his sister was going to be with him? Or he was saying, I'm not alone at the farmhouse, like everything's fine. Or maybe it was both.
Oh, I think it's the sister, because I was expecting you to tell me that Cha-Cha was going to pass away. Like someone was dying for sure.
Oh, you got that vibe?
Mm-hmm. Someone was joining him, so he wasn't going to be alone anymore.
Yeah, very next day, sister.
That's crazy.
Okay, so I have another fun one.
Okay.
In her half awake stories. So when Sara was in high school, she would always sneak away from mass early at her abuela's request to go to the church kitchen and get in line for the post-church meal that the tias had prepared. She would also run into an older boy there, Milo, who was getting in line for food as well. He was about 1 or 2 grades older than her, but they would always goof off while they waited for Mass to end. Nothing romantic between them. He was more of the brotherly type. She said she would walk in and he'd always be leaning with his elbow on the counter, and he'd always tease her about the boyfriend she had because he was a real piece of shit and she knew it. We'll call the boyfriend Greg. She walked in and he would tease her and he'd say, "Hey, Greg," asking why that she was with such garbage. She knew he was a garbage boyfriend, so she ends up breaking it off with Greg. Sadly, shortly after, her friend Milo dies in a tragic car accident.
Jeez Louise.
I know. Now, a few years go by and she's a freshman in college, and she's in this half-awake dream state where she's at Mass sitting at the pew. She gets up, walks into the kitchen. Milo is there leaning on the counter, and he's shaking his head no in a disapproving manner. And she knows right away it's because of her current boyfriend. He says, "Hey, Greg." And Sara is so frustrated because she knows that her boyfriend is a piece of shit and she doesn't want Milo to be right. But of course he is. So she ends up breaking up with that dude too. Fast forward a little further. Several years, Sara is engaged to her now husband. She has this dream again. She's sitting in the pew. She gets up to the kitchen. Milo's leaning on the counter. He looks at her and he nods his head. "Oh, yeah," in that kind of manner. And she wakes up and she's not seen Milo since she's been married. It was like he was kind of her, like...
I love her matchmaker from heaven. Yeah. I love that. Oh my God. Why can't we? Maybe that's what a spirit guide is, but like, I want a ghost telling me what's up, guiding me in life's decisions and directions.
Shaking the head. Nope. You're doing it wrong.
Yes.
Nope. Don't do that.
Right. I love it.
It must have just felt so good when she got that nod from him, that approving nod. Like, yes. Yeah. Okay. Married.
Yes. We all need that. Oh man, I need to connect. Maybe my ghost team is giving me signs and stuff. I don't know how to connect.
Open it up. Open it up. Now, this kind of makes me want to start a dream journal. I think we talked about doing that like a year ago.
We did.
We're having all these meaningful psychic dreams and we just don't know shit because we don't write it down. Okay, do you want to hear a real banana story?
Yes. Oh my gosh, is this another one from Sara?
They're all Sara stories.
Okay.
She keeps them coming. And she'll think of one and message me and be like, "Here's this other." I'm like, "It's gold. It's so good." Okay. Several years ago, Sarah's working at a large company as manager. She receives a call from her boss that her colleague Matt's son had passed away in a car accident, and that the whole team should attend the wake/funeral in support for him. So the night before the wake, Sara saw a young man in her dreams. Now, he stood out particularly to her because this was a white boy, and most of the people in her inner circle at the time were not white. So this sort of stood out for her. She didn't know who this kid was, but she could tell that he was younger than she was. He kept indicating the color yellow to her. Not just the color, but sort of the feeling of like extreme warmth. She described it as like feeling when you're standing in a sunny window and the sun's shining on you, where it's nice but not too hot, kind of like where a cat would fall asleep on the windowsill. And then she felt like they were in this open area together with a lot of trees. The next day, she attends the wake where she sees a photo of Matt's son. It is the same boy from her dream. Now, at some point during the wake, Matt's wife makes her way over. Now, keep in mind, the wake is huge. Like, it's a large company. Everyone in the companies come. This boy was in high school, very popular. All of the schoolmates come. It's a big ordeal. And Matt's wife makes her way over through this crowded place over to stand right next to Sara. Now, Sara doesn't know his wife. I think they've met maybe one time, barely know each other. And she just stands right next to her. And Sara has the inclination to lean over. And she leans over and she squeezes this woman's hand. And she has this overwhelming feeling to ask, does the color yellow have any significance to you? But she feels really awkward and she doesn't want to sound crazy. So they just stood there in silence for like a really long time. Later, after the wake, Sara read the police report and that it was a single car accident where their son had hit a tree. And she's certain that it was the same group of trees that she had seen in her dream.
Oh, no.
I wanted to just like shake Sara when she told me this story because I'm just like, why didn't you mention the color yellow? Like, what was the mom going to say? Like, I will just never know.
Oh, we're not going to get any resolution there?
No resolution. Now, I think though, even though she didn't mention the color yellow, I think that this mom was drawn to Sara because she had some connection with her son and that she like felt comforted just by her presence being next to her. So even though the color yellow wasn't mentioned, I do think that she brought her some comfort.
Yeah, I mean, to hold the hand. I mean, and also we have very high expectations of other people to do things that we would never do if put in their same situation. I don't think I would be like, well, does the color yellow mean anything to you? Like
out of the blue. And you know, that's what's so fascinating when we talked with Dr. Jess last week. This medium who contacts her husband out of the blue to be like, I know this sounds really crazy, but let me tell you this experience. And so that's the thing is I think there's this fear of just sounding crazy. And it's not. There very possibly could have been something super meaningful about the color yellow, but you know.
Yeah. I mean, then, you know, that doubt creeps. Is this the time or the place? Should I really, you know, and
I think that's what she thought too. Like, is this the place at his wake to bring this up and talk about
exactly.
it? So.
Yeah, and I wouldn't do it. But like, yeah, we sit here talking about their stories and we're like, what the fuck? Why didn't you do that?
Why didn't you say
you need
yellow?
To go do that. Oh my God, we need to know.
In the moment, it's probably terrifying to be oh my God, I just dreamt of your son last night. Like, how do you even bring that up?
Yeah.
It is a really, I mean, it was their only son. It's a, horrible event. Horrible. So what was so interesting that as I'm writing all of these stories out, because I had recorded these during our coffee so I could remember all of the details. As I'm writing them out, car accident.
Yes,
car accident,
that's what I'm noticing. Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking this as I'm writing this last night. This morning, she messages me the story about her colleague's son. And then she goes, with the exception of my abuela, every single person that has come to me, presented themselves to me, has been in a car accident. And she tells me one other story. There's another story. So this next story, she literally tells me this morning, it's about her brother-in-law's nephew. He had come to her in a dream. Now, he had died in a car accident, which was really bizarre. Another car accident, mind you. Now, in this one, he was in the car with a guy from work who he didn't even know very well. And the guy was driving. They ended up getting in a car accident and he dies. So in this dream that she has with her brother-in-law's nephew, he's indicating this necklace and this piece of jewelry. And as he's indicating it, she realizes that she's wearing this necklace and it's heavy on her neck. And he's letting her know the necklace isn't a big deal. It's just a possession. It's okay. And then she wakes up she finds out a short while later that at the brother-in-law, I should give him a name. We'll call him Bobby. At Bobby's funeral, Bobby's little brother had come up and taken a necklace off of Bobby during the funeral. He just wanted to hold on to it during the funeral, and he was going to put it back in the casket before they closed it. But what ends up happening is the little brother lost the necklace in the church. They couldn't find it anywhere, and they end up closing the casket, and the little brother is devastated, and the family's super pissed at the little brother. But Sara has this information that he's not worried about the necklace. It's just a possession. It's okay. But she had no idea about the necklace being missing at the funeral or any of that. It was just some information that came to her in the dream, which I thought was pretty cool.
Did she pass it along to them?
I don't think so.
And now I wonder,
she really doesn't want to sound crazy.
I wonder if it's a St. Christopher medal necklace.
I think it may have been a cross.
Okay.
I'm not totally sure though. But it doesn't matter. It's just a necklace. But now I'm curious, that's got to be some foreshadowing for something to happen in the future where that necklace is going to straight up show up in somebody's dresser drawer one day and be like, Bobby!
Oh, I hope so. Oh my gosh. Yes, please. Yeah. Or maybe the little brother took it to keep it and pretended he lost it. But he wanted something.
Maybe. But here's the thing. When you're dead, it doesn't matter.
No.
Just take the necklace.
Yeah, exactly.
Keep it. Have it.
Yeah.
If that's going to bring you peace, do it.
Yeah. Rob those graves.
Steal it.
Get it.
Oh man. So I've got more non-dream related stories from Sara. She is just a wealth of information. But after hearing all of this and writing it all down, I messaged her today as we're chatting, and I was like, girl, you're a straight up medium. The dead converse with you. Right? She is, isn't she? And she told me that she has this crazy ability when they're driving past car accidents on the road. She'll know immediately if somebody's died in the car accident. Weird. They were vacationing just this past December. They were vacationing in Florida, and they're driving down the highway, and they passed this accident, and she knew right away that the motorcyclist had died. And she didn't tell anybody. Her husband saw it in her eyes though, that she knows something bad happens. And she said it happens and she'll know if they passes, everybody's fine. But she'll know immediately if it's somebody who's died.
That is interesting. That knowing feeling. I think that probably at some point you've all felt this. Maybe not, but I think
you have some of this ability.
When you know,
right?
you know, and then it's like, fuck. Yeah, but I don't. It's not. It's maybe my mail will come today. Maybe it won't. I know. No, it's not always the most important things.
Abilities.
But yeah, sometimes, and I'll shit. I stumbled on that, and I'll know, even though my heart wants something different, that the truth of the matter is, it's just a calm knowing.
Yeah,
but it doesn't always. It's not like I can. Yeah, and there's no control of it, but. Man, I have a couple more stories, but I'm going to save mine for next episode because
I know I totally hogged this whole episode and I am not even sad about it.
It was worth it because if I tell one of mine, I want to tell the other. So, because they're sort of linked together. So I'm going to wait anyway.
Ooh, perfect. Save it for next time.
Yeah. So man, I think you're right. She is some sort of probably a medium,
clairvoyant, but I think clairvoyant at the very least, right?
There is this difficulty though when people don't know what to do with it. We didn't really even recap our Dr. Jess physician doctor episode where that person who called, she went beyond and overcame. She had information, she didn't know what to do with it, and she just bit the bullet and threw it out there. It could have gone very south and very poorly for her, or no reaction whatsoever. So there's definitely I did how she repeatedly disclaimed that this sounds crazy. I understand it sounds crazy, but it sounds probably a lot of people have information that they're not going to speak up about because they sound crazy, right? I think that the gal that reached out to Jess's husband was probably in the minority of just rogue psychic readings, which we would love. Anybody?
I think you're right. Well, and that's the thing is when Sara has these dreams, if she were to tell that grieving mother, like it would be a rogue a rogue medium reading. I don't even know. Yeah, it's this I think I saved these stories for today because we needed to have Dr. Jess on to be like, guess what? This crazy shit that's happening, it is kind of normal. Like there's this group of us out here that have these abilities and you're not crazy.
Yeah.
That's really it. You're not crazy.
You're not crazy. I would say too, if you are the recipient of a rogue psychic reading or a rogue message or something, maybe be open to it. Like, I don't think you're going to be listening to our podcast if you're not, honestly. If you are, like, you've probably shut it off.
Yeah.
But like,
be open to it.
Because we've talked about Jada's parent mom and reaching out to Jada's mom. Again, that's something that we're like, Julie, do it. But we don't want any part to do with that, you know? Like,
we're not going to do it.
Are we being nosy? What is it? It's just beyond our pay grade. We don't get paid shit. So
we're in the negative.
We will just judge.
Speaking of, should we direct people to our merch shop?
You know what we should put in the merch shop, Britt? Is a Skeletal sleep journal or just a sleep journal.
Ooh.
And maybe we should buy one each for ourselves.
Yes. And we'll all dream journal together. Sara will win the dreaming journaling contest, but that's fine. I'm cool with that.
And then we can have like a meetup where we all read our dreams to each other and then we'll fall asleep and dream more.
I was just going to say.
And then we'll note it. It's just going to be this ongoing, endless session that will never end. So if you want to write into us and tell us about your medium abilities or anything, any stories like this, you can do that at skeletalespodcast@gmail.com. You can also call us on our hotline.
Our hotline is 302-689-DEAD, 302-689-3323. We are also on all the social medias, and you can DM us over there. But email really is preferred. But if it's more convenient to just click on the messages on Instagram or Facebook, we will absolutely read those and respond within a year.
Okay, a year. That is our, yes. Okay, that's reasonable. I can do that.
If you want to go to our merch shop, you can find that on our link tree over on Instagram, or it's www.skeletalespodcast.etsy.com. Share us with your friends, please.
Yes. Rate and review however you're able to. Yeah, share. Do all of those things. I had something else I had to say, but I can't, like, genuinely, I had something else I had to say, but I cannot remember what it was. Oh, Brett, I like that you have a black globe behind you. Just wanted
Did you give that to me? It's a light up lamp globe. I thought you gave that to me.
I might have. Did I?
Or maybe Mitch
Way
did.
back in Denver. I do actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
in
shit.
Denver. Still have that.
I didn't recognize it. I was like, that's a fucking cool globe.
Tells
Someone
me all
real
the time
cool
how much
must
it
have
misses you.
given that to you. That's what I was thinking the whole time. And and you talked about Australia, a trip to Australia with boogers, and I can see Australia from here.
Yeah, you would think I would be better about geography having a globe in my office. What? Nope, still real bad.
No. That's why I'm not good. We give away our globes apparently. We're like, fuck this shit. Don't need that. What do I need a globe and maps for? Anyway. Britt, one more thing.
Oh, yes. What is it, Alissa?
Haunt you later.
Haunt y'all later.
Good night.
Good night.
Should we tell people it was actually morning when we recorded this? Oh.